think I'm gonna read my book. Sorry, my phone totally did some wacko shit. I'm doing okay. How are you? Hi. Sorry about that, Shannon. I didn't have enough storage in my... But thank you, Shannon, for coming up here. If they do anything to you, you need to let me know. Okay? Okay. Hey, Melissa. What's up? Listen, don't worry about me. I do, actually. I do. Right. I don't believe any of you. Okay. Hey, Hollywood, what's up? Nice filter. Thanks. It's fine. I have nothing to lose. Well, you're very strong for even doing that, so... Nothing much. Just post a video because I gotta watch Baby Neck. Oh, so sweet. I don't... Hi. Hey. Who wants to hear my book? Hi. Gabi, sorry. Come on, I redid it. I do. No, I'm not gonna speak on Danny because it doesn't matter. You wanna hear it? Good God, no. I can't wait till the book comes out. Got it. You do? Okay. All right. Come on. Ow. Nice filter. Thank you. I don't think you know who I am. Oh, sounds good. That's good to know. Tell me you're not going to sing. No, it's a book. It's actually not a joke. Actually. All right, I'm going to put you guys over here because I got to charge my phone, but you guys can listen to when I'm going to read. All right. My phone, but you guys can listen to when I'm going to read. All right. What? Alright, here we go. Ready? We'll read it when you plan on to publish it. Well, there's millions of people around the world. And not only I'm going to get my book published, but I'm actually wanting to tell my story before my even book gets published. So regardless if I'm reading this now, this is my story, and I want it to be told, and I want everyone to hear my story because there's a message here, and not only has it helped me, but it's gonna help people out there too. Okay? So everything I'm gonna read is basically from my childhood all the way up to my son and me being cyberbullied. All right, I'm gonna pull this up. All right, the title of my book is From Childhood to Cyberbullying, My Journey. Okay? My sister and I were born on June 2nd, 1992. My biological mother was 16 at the time, and my dad was also 16. They were unable to take care of us. My grandparents took over. And the story that I was told from my grandparents that we were very sick when we were first born. My sister and I are twins. They call us the fraternal twins. And they also referred us to as mere twins, just like Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen. When the doctor delivered my sister and I via C-section, the doctor had to pick one of us to be older. And the doctor chose my sister. And he said it was by 1 minute, but we came out at the same time. I guess Danny was that favorite on that day. I was told that my sister and I were very sick and we both had seizures. My grandma kept telling the doctors and talking to my biological mother and saying that there's a church that they might not make it. My biological mother almost died when she was giving birth to us. My grandparents told us, my biological dad, my grandparents told that my biological dad was a thief and a drug user and spent most of his life in jail. My grandparents kidnapped me and my sister. From what I was told, my grandpa had Danielle inside of his jacket and my grandma had me inside of her jacket. And they left the hospital. Of course, DCFS found us and DCFS just said, I can't take these children out of this home. They are actually in good care. So they just let us go. Chapter 2, Finding Answers. My grandparents had been together since the age of 18. My grandma had her first child at 18. It was a girl named, and her name was Jennifer. I remember this day, I was in first grade, and hearing all the kids saying they're waiting for their moms to be picked up, them from school. And I asked my grandma, why don't I have a mom? And if it was okay that I called my grandma Mom. I remember I went to go visit my biological father in jail. He had an orange suit and my sister and I were asking lots of questions, but everyone had a different story to tell. I was always wondering what was the truth. From my biological parents' standpoint, nothing made any sense to me. My sister and I struggled in school with comprehension and learning skills back and forth with private schools, tutors, homeschooling co-ops. My grandma, but I technically called Mom now, was extremely frustrated and with teaching us. My sister Tina, who technically she's my aunt, she was a teacher and decided to help us with school. Tina then told my mom that it was very difficult teaching my sister and I, and she also stated that we should go on medication, and that we weren't understanding the basic skills. So then my mom took us to a doctor where we got on the proper medication to help us. From what I was told by my mother, that it made us suicidal and she took us off. We had a lot of people come in and help us. We were made fun of. We were bullied. I remember in 4th grade, someone told me if I had an extra chromosome. I remember going home and crying that day and telling my mother that I want to quit school. And that's when she homeschooled us. My mom did everything to give us the best life ever. There was a theater called CYT. My sister and I were in theater from the age of 12 to the age of 18. It was one of the greatest experiences I've ever had. It was a calling for us, singing, dancing, something that made us happy. One day we were out for dinner with my family. I was in the car crying, and my mother asked me what was wrong. And I said, Mom, if I have any kids, are they going to struggle? My mom said, not all the time. I remember telling my mom I want kids, and I want them to be proud of me. My mother told me that they will, just love them and give them what they need. At the age of 19, I went to a doctor and I got tested for ADHD. I was then put on Adderall and I was diagnosed with severe ADHD. Ever since I was on that medication, I actually performed really good. I could focus. I still had jobs. I did tell them, hold on. still had jobs, and I performed really, really well. Chapter 3, my grandparents. I need some water. Hold on. Oh my God. Give me a second. Alright, my grandparents had 5 kids of their own, including my sister and I, which makes 7. My mom is the most amazing, soft-spoken woman who has a good heart, who has taught me how to love, how to be patient, how to be kind, and the most important thing is to how to accept God as your Savior. We are Bible Baptist believers. My sister and I have grown up in a Baptist church. At the age of 12, I asked God to come into my heart to save me and make me a child of God. I was baptized by the pastor. Same thing with my sister. Going to church ever since. All of this, a long time, my biological dad was still in jail. He got out one time and came over to the house. I remember putting makeup on his face and laughing and taking a picture by the fireplace. A few years down the road, I got a box full of letters. It was actually hundreds of letters when he was in jail. He wrote me every single day telling how much he loves us. We still have these letters to this day. My grandparents always told me how to save and teach me basic skills, how to function day to day. Taught me how to change a tire, change an oil in case I was single for the rest of my life. He always told me that I'm gonna need to do things by myself, and in case I don't have a man, and not to depend on a man, and that I can do things by myself and be independent. My grandparents taught me a lot. I can't thank them enough. My grandparents also taught me how to drive. I came home with a book to study, and I studied my brains out. I remember this day, my sister and and my mom took us to the DMV to get our license, and my sister and I passed. I was so proud of myself. I thought I couldn't do it, but we did. And we passed with flying colors. Even though my sister and I got bullied so much, it never stopped us from believing in us that we can't do things in life. My mom and dad my grandparents haven't had the best relationship, almost at the age of 60, and they finally separated. My mom and me and Danny, my sister, found a place of our own. This was, I would say, at the age of 22. We were there for a few months, and then my mom kicked us out. My sister and I, we wanted to do things, at 23, and my mom wasn't having it. So she met a man named Bobby, and Bobby lived in Florida, so my mom moved in with him. Chapter 4, twin sisters finding their way. My sister and I got our first apartment by ourselves. My sister and I moved in with my dog Bella. I was a vet tech during these months, and one day we heard kittens meowing. Another vet tech that I worked with, found them by a dumpster, and there was no mama to be seen, so we took them in, cleaned them up. I took 2 of them, and my coworker took 2 of them. We brought them home. We named them Dolce & Gabbana. There was a karaoke, so hold on, Dolce. Okay, so basically we brought them home. We named them Dolce & Gabbana. So Dolce was for Danny, Gabbana was for me. We stayed there for about a year. There was a karaoke bar that was down the street, something that my sister and I loved to do. We were there every weekend, making friends, doing what we love to do. It was time to move to a different apartment. Chapter 5, finding my love of my life. Stop it. Did she? Oh my word. Go ahead. Go. That's fine. All right. When we got settled into my new apartment, I was with my boyfriend named Jesse, who I met on Plenty of Fish. I wasn't really attached to this guy. I thought he was gay because he wouldn't have, all he cared about was his gaming and his dog. So I was just starting to move on from that relationship. Danielle had some friends over on Memorial Day. We had a party. I met a guy named Aaron. Aaron was at the party. Aaron couldn't take his eyes off me for the following weekend. It was our birthday, June 2nd, and my boyfriend took me to Six Flags, and I did not have fun. Aaron and I were texting that day. Aaron's like, do you want me to come pick you up? And I'm like, no. However, we came back home, and I made the decision on leaving Jesse. I was pretty broken, so I went to the bar. Aaron was there. I got up and I sang some songs because it was karaoke that night. Aaron made a comment to one of his friends, and he said, I gotta get that girl. She has a voice of an angel. And that night, we went home together. I'll let your imagination run wild with what happened that night. I remember Danielle telling Erin, if you mess with her emotions or if you beat up on her, I'm coming after you. My sister has always been so protective of me, but I've always been in abusive relationships. Every guy that I was ever with would either hit me, beat me, I had concussions, I was beat down and bruised. My sister is always going to be there for you. Isn't that the truth? Erin told my sister that he would never do that and that he would treat me like how I was supposed to be treated. We had a rough week. Danielle was addicted to rugs, and it screwed us over on this place that we were living in, and she left, and I had no idea how to pay for it. I was by myself with all 3 of my animals. It was way too much money. During that time, I was with Aaron just for a few months, and he had a house that his mom gave him at the age of 16. He's been living in that house ever since, and now at the age of 30, I asked him if he has any advice, because I had no idea what to do. He told me to pack up and come live with him, so that's what I did. And of course, it's on my record of not paying rent, though all this time I still had my dog and 2 cats. I never let them go. Danny had a falling, she got the help she needed, and she went to rehab. She almost died because of the using of the drugs. She had no place to go, so Erin told she can live with us during all this craziness. I'm not going to read that. You guys can read that in my book. Erin and I continue our relationship. No. There's things I'm not going to read, but you can read my book. Chapter 6, the day I found out I was pregnant. I went to the store and I told Erin that I feel like I'm pregnant and I need to go get a test. Erin's like, there's no way that you're pregnant. I'm like, I told him, I feel like I am. So we go home that day after getting the test, and it was about 2 in the morning. And I woke up and I went to the bathroom and I peed. It was a very, very faint line, but I could tell it was positive. And I told many doctors I was told by many doctors I could never get pregnant because I have endometriosis, and it would be very hard to get pregnant. So even though I had a faint line, I still really didn't believe it. I took about 20 pregnancy tests every day, got stronger and stronger and stronger until I finally said I was pregnant. I remember waking up Aaron and telling him that we were pregnant, and he looked over and told me, I don't believe it, there's no way. Aaron told me to go see a doctor, so that morning I made an appointment. I went to the doctor's office, they did blood work, did a urinalysis, and came back into the room and said, the doctor said, on a piece of paper, I'm going to be expecting a baby boy in December. I went back home and told Aaron. We both started to cry. We just couldn't believe it. We were still living in that house that Aaron was living in, but it wasn't ready for a baby. We had to find somewhere else to go. In the meantime, it was his mother's and father's home. Aaron did not take care of the house. Boys would be boys. So here's a little bit about Aaron. He was adopted by his father. He was adopted. Oh my God. His father died when he was 7 years old. His mom raised him. When Aaron was 16, that is when his mom gave him the house and said, here, I'm going to live with your aunt. She needs help. It was some type of family issue, so he had the house to himself, and the house was more like a party house instead of a house that a baby was going to be living in 9 months, and that's why we had to leave. I did talk to Aaron's mom about making the house and flipping the house or do some kind of investment to make it in a home for a child, but that did not go well. Then on Thanksgiving, Aaron proposed to me. During all of this, we were trying to find a home, getting ready to have a baby in 9 months, and trying to get our wedding together. The wedding didn't really go well because it was so much money. We tried, but we didn't have enough. Things got too expensive, and we were running out of time, so we made a decision on holding off the wedding, and we finally got a place. Chapter 7, the birth of my son. On December 8th, my son, Cameron James Bradley, was born on December 8th at 8 o'clock in the morning. It was the most beautiful thing I've ever witnessed, hearing my son cry. I had my son via C-section. He was a breech baby. He was very stubborn. He did not want to flip. I remember this day so well. It was a scheduled C-section. I did not want this baby to come out. I was in bed. I had to be at the hospital at 5:30 in the morning. Aaron was telling me, let's go. I pulled the comforter back over my head. I was like, I'm not going. You can stay there for a few more weeks. I was so scared of the spinal tap, I was having a panic attack. It took Aaron and my sister to drag me out of the house. I got to the hospital, I was crying in a panic attack mode. I get into the room and they get me all set up in the hospital, and the doctor was telling me about his wife and how she was nervous and how it's not gonna hurt, it's just a little pinch from. The anesthesiologist was really good at it, so he calmed down my nerves. I remember walking into the operating room, sat down on the table. They had a drape over my back, and they administered the spinal tap. I was like, that's it? And they said, yeah. I'm like, okay, I'm good. I remember throwing up in the middle of my C-section. Aaron was looking at me. I could tell he was really nervous, but then it took about 5 minutes, and boom, there was our baby boy. Aaron was holding him, love at first sight. He was the most beautiful baby boy ever. He went home with a Mickey Mouse outfit on. Mama did so good. I was walking after my C-section. I'm a very strong woman and no one really can break me. The nurses told me to sit down and stop moving. I did not listen. All right. I gotta fix something in that little area. All right, chapter 8, settling in our new home in a broken family in 6 months. All right, we got settled in. It was a great 6 months. Everything was great until something happened with the apartment. There was a few ups and downs. Aaron left me one night. We had an argument. It wasn't a really big argument, but it was a small argument. But he took off. I had no idea. I begged him. I got on my hands and knees and I said, please do not leave me. I had no job. He was young. I remember he was the only one that was making income, and I was just worried about how am I going to do this. I remember he took everything and left, and he took everything in a box and left. He left nothing for me or Cam. I remember going to a church and asking for help. I got some donations to help pay for the rent and paid for the electrical bill, and it helped for a month or two. I went to food pantries just to make ends meet. I told the landlord what was going on. He understood. I still had my I still had my dog and 2 cats with me. It finally came that I had to give them up and move in with my family. When Cameron went to bed that night, I got boxes and I packed the entire place by myself, and I moved in with my biological mother in Florida. And I'm sorry, hold on, I gotta delete that. Biological mother. Okay, I had to give up my dog and 2 cats. I did find some people to take my 2 cats. It was the hardest decision that I could ever make. But as a mom, you have to make hard choices, and that was a hard choice. My dog went with my biological, my grandpa. Ugh. All right, chapter 9, moving with my biological mother. I get to my biological mother's house, get settled in. My stepdad was Hispanic, and my biological mother, of course, was white. And my stepfather had 3 kids of their own, half white, half Hispanics. My Hispanic stepdad just didn't believe that we were part of the family because we were white, and we did not fit in. I always felt like my biological mother chose her 3 kids over me and Danny. When I was living with my biological mother, I called her Lisa because I had a strong feeling that she just didn't deserve to be called a mom. A mom is a hard, rewarding job, and Lisa was never there. My mom, Grandma, was always there. She did everything from feeding us, taking care of us, put clothes on us, teaching us how to walk, crawl, teaching us everyday life skills. That's what you're supposed to do that's what you should call your own mother when they do that kind of stuff. I gotta fix that. Whatever. You know what I'm talking about. Okay, back to this. I will always call my biological mother Lisa. And my half-sibling said, why don't you call her mom? And I said, because she was never a mom to me. She never did what a mom needed to do, and my half-siblings hated me for that. And I asked my biological mother, I said, Lisa, why didn't you fight for me and Danny? She told me that she did, but Grandma and Grandpa wouldn't allow it. Who knows if that's true? Now, I've always had a question in the back of my mind, why didn't she keep us? Why didn't she fight for us? I always told if I had a kid, I would never give up on him or her like my mom gave up on me. All right, chapter 10, vacation in Florida, Fort Myers, and another move. My grandma called me that day, and I cried my eyes out, and I was scared. I was a single mother, and I had no idea what was going to happen in the future. My mom told me to come down for vacation. She was living in Fort Myers, Florida, and I said yes, and I'll stay there for about a week or 2. It was a great vacation. My mom asked if I wanted to live with Lisa, my biological mother, and I said no. Then I made a decision on contacting another family member, which was Tina, my aunt, and technically I called my sister. Technically, that was my aunt. So I packed up and I moved there for about a month or 2. My sister, I was very strict. She always told me she's not going to have my son dictate her schedule. She told me how to feed my son, how to discipline my son, how to do this, how to do that. It was wrong. I told my sister you are not his mother, and I'm sorry, but I will respect your house rules, but you will not tell me what to do with my son. Somebody was calling him. Oh, Aaron saw. No. So what's going on? Is there somebody talking? Because Aaron just told me what's going on. Is everything okay? Who's talking about me? No, seriously. What's going on? What's going on? Nope. It's marker. It's marker. Really? Are you for real? It's marker. Oh my God. I'm documenting this. Yes. Hello. I have it on live. I'm about to go wake up my son and show you that he has no bruises on his freaking ankles. Holy shit. That's a big accusation. A huge accusation. I'm not going. It's marker. I need to screenshot these. Oh, heaven help me. Holy crap. That. Wow. No way. Wow, I have no words. I have no words. No, it's not funny. No, I'm not going back to my get real, Gabi. Get real. He was playing with marker. And you're going to sit there and say I'm documenting this. Oh, I am oh, this is a good one. This is a good one. Please tell me somebody has a recording of Feisty doing this. Please tell me that Feisty is getting recorded on this. Please, for the love of God, tell me somebody has this on recording. Has this on recording. Oh my God. I just saw freaking videos and screenshots. Yes, I did. Someone just... You guys are... Oh, my word. Oh, my word. I can't. This is... It's... It's cool. Oh, okay. I just got messages from somebody. Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. Okay, so the screen recordings, the screenshots, that's all wrong? Okay. Another skit. This is so wrong. Holy crap. No. Posting pictures of my son on the internet when you're really good thing I have that's recorded and you didn't even cover his face. Okay, that's another one. That's fine. Keep it oh my God, you guys are just digging yourself a deeper hole. Okay, you know what? Thank you for the supporters who are screenshotting this, who are screen recording this while I'm doing my own thing. I appreciate you. I'm done with this conversation. Please keep looking out for my family while this is all happening. I have nothing to hide. I'm going back to my book, and that is it. Okay? Thank you. My grandma called me that day and I cried my eyes out and I was scared. A single mother, I had no idea what was going to happen in the future. And my mom told me to come down for vacation. She was living in Fort Myers, Florida, and I said yes, and I will stay there for about a week or two. It was a great vacation. My mom asked me if I wanted to go back and live with Lisa. And I said no. So then I made a decision and contacted I already said that. Hold on. Okay. Chapter 11, hotel stay. Aaron got back with me and he came to the hotel. I got a job. I was working from home. I had all my equipment with me and I was working to support Cameron. Aaron was with me, but he wasn't paying child support. We were talking in the hotel about getting back together and we would see where it would go, but the hotel got too expensive. Chapter 12, moved in with another family member. We had to go to another family member's house, so me and Cameron packed up and moved with my sister, another sister, technically my aunt, but I call her my sister. It was a very small room. I carried my work equipment there with me. I had just a mattress. It was like a basement by the garage. It was always really, really cold. We can say that it really didn't work out too much because my son and her son got into lots of fights, and it got so bad that she told me it was just not going to work out, which I understood. It was hard. And so then my mom said, Gabi, why don't you come live with me in Fort Myers, Florida? And I said, okay. So Aaron and I were still kind of talking, getting back together. Aaron made a promise to me. He said he would fly down after his car got fixed. His motor went out and it was during COVID time, so the parts were taking forever. And he just kept telling me, just go to your mom's and I will come down there when the car is ready. Chapter 13, the big move to Florida. My son and I packed up and got on a plane, and I was headed off to Fort Myers, Florida. Every day I was texting Aaron, when are you coming down? When are you coming down? He always replied, not right now, my car's not done.
In the meantime, I was getting all settled in. I still had my work from home job. I had it transferred from Illinois to Florida with no issues. My mom was not young. My mom had already raised 7 kids. This was really hard on her, especially with what she already has going on. But you can say a mother's love will never go away. I had to find Cameron a school / daycare to go to. I was trying to get insurance for him, insurance for me. Finally, my mom told me that the work from home job was not going to work, so I need to find a different job. So that's what I did. I went on Indeed and I found some jobs. I got one. It was a vet tech. I found Cameron a daycare. I was putting him in there and I went to work. He started to act out with his behaviors. I lost my job because my son was just having those behaviors and it was just very rough. I'm not gonna read too much. You can read. When I publish my book, you can go ahead and read it. So bear with me. I found a job and I found a lady who's gonna watch Cameron for me for a while I went to work. It was going good for a couple months until one day I got a call telling me to come pick up Cam because she couldn't do it. It was too hard. He was and this and other kids and he, not sleeping. So I went to go pick him up and I came home, started to cry, telling my mom, why is this happening? What am I doing wrong? Started to yell and scream and just try my hardest not to give up. I got to the point where Aaron was not paying child support. He was coming up with so many different excuses. Cameron and I said we will try this for 1 more month. Same thing. I found a babysitter. His behaviors, he was just acting out, and it just didn't work out. I lost my job because I couldn't hold one. I had to really figure out what I was gonna do with Cameron. Aaron told me that he wasn't coming down to Florida anymore, that he had a girlfriend. That just broke me into pieces. Never have I ever thought that he would ever say that to me. So now I'm a single mom. Cameron has had over 20 to 25 ear infections over and over and over again. It just never went away. We saw his pediatrician. He said he's gonna have to have ear tubes. So ear tubes were placed on August 9th. We scheduled him for surgery and I asked Aaron to come down to be here for us. And he did come down. I remember picking him up from the airport and telling Cameron, are you excited to go see your daddy? And when he got in the car, he didn't know his dad. It was like a stranger to him. I was looking in the back seat and Aaron said, hey bud, I'm your dad. No reaction. He also said, hey Cameron, it's daddy. It was like he never knew his dad. I was crying while looking in the back of your mirror, wondering, this is just basically, I was hurt. I was like, as a mom, when that happens, I was just very emotional. No, Aaron was not a one night stand. No, he was not. He was not. We've been together for almost 7 years, coming from June. It is. What do you mean, nails? What do you mean, nails? To not trap him? Not really. Not really. He is very nice. We had our ups and downs. What do you mean? What picture? What picture? I know they're playing with my mind. I can tell. I can tell what they're doing. I know what they're doing. No, I don't. I know. I can message you, Gabi. Am I doing anything wrong, Nicole? Like I'm ignoring it. Okay. know. Yes, I know. I just keep reading. Okay. All right. Aaron was like, what's the matter? I told Aaron, Cameron doesn't remember you. It's going to take some time. My mom was texting me asking if Cameron remembered him, and I said no. So the next day, Cameron had surgery. Cameron did not want anything to do with Aaron. He didn't want to be by him, nothing. Aaron was so heartbroken. He was angry. He was upset. He was like, why did I come here then if my son won't even remember me or come to me? He called his mom in the bedroom, and his mom says, because you haven't been there, he's not going to know who you really are. It takes time. He's too young. And that's exactly what I told Aaron. And so the next day, that's when Cameron started to, get more attached to Aaron and started to slowly remember him. And then he wanted to be by Aaron the next day. I was like, see, I told you. It's just going to take some time. Aaron saw me and fell back in love with me. He was still with his girlfriend, and I told his mom, he was still with his girlfriend, and he told his mom that he said, Mom, I'm thinking I'm falling back in love with Gabi. Aaron's mom said, do what makes you happy. Aaron was still with the girlfriend and was telling me that he was not with her, and I caught him in a few different lies until he finally said, okay, I'm done. And he flew back to Chicago and said, I'll be waiting for you. And this hurricane hit. It was pretty scary. We were out of power. We had to store all of our food in a cooler and keep it as cold as possible. We had to go to our cars to charge our phones. No TV, no nothing, just a lot of wind and water. The airports were slammed. My mom drove 3 hours to an airport just to take me and Cameron there so we can get back to Chicago. And when my mom dropped me and Cameron off at the airport after being with her for 1 year, it was a very difficult moment in my life. I had to do what I had to do. Cameron loved my mom so much. He was happy, but I knew what I had to do because it wasn't fair. Chapter 14, moving back to Illinois. It was that last hug at the airport. My mom was in tears, I was in tears, and Cameron was little. He had no idea what was going on. We got onto the airplane and took off to Chicago. We landed safely, and Aaron was there to pick us up. We went to Anthony's place, but it wasn't the best situation. I had lots of anxiety attacks, just how it was set up, and then we went to Danielle's house. We stayed there for about a month. Things were going good for the first few days, then Danielle did something, and we left again. We had to go live with Brian and Aaron, which is Aaron's friend, and we stayed there for a couple months, and then Cameron was starting to yell and scream during the night, so Brian was living with his twin brother, and his twin brother worked third shift, so Brian told me it's not working out because of the baby crying and screaming, it's not getting enough sleep, so he said we had to leave. During that time, I had a job that I was working from home still. I was looking at shelters, I was looking at apartments and houses and with private landlords, and nothing was happening. Finally had to get a realtor, told me everything that was getting denied, and that we were getting denied, and we went to go look at so many different places, but nothing was happening for us. We finally had to go live in another hotel. We stayed there for a few months, and then we were trying to figure out what's our next move was going to be. I was still working from home. Chapter 16, we got a place. We finally got an answer to this one place. It was the same place that we lived in where we brought Cameron home from the hospital. It was the exact same apartment, the exact same complex, and my sister is the one that found it, thanks to her. We were messaging him on Facebook Messenger. He didn't want any credit check. He didn't want any background check. He just said, here, it's yours, take it. It was a 1-bedroom, 1-bath. It was good for right now. It was a place that Cameron can call home. So this day, I still have not gave up on my son, Cameron. We got settled into our new home. It was around Christmas time. I was so happy that we could celebrate Christmas. I had a place that I can call home. I'm still working at a home job. This was around November 28th, 2022. We moved in, and it was the best Christmas and birthday ever. Cameron got to spend it with his dad and I. Chapter 17. The fear of the unknown as mom. Cameron was starting to have lots of behavioral issues that we started to notice around November, right before we moved into this apartment, biting, hitting, yelling, getting frustrated. Aaron and I had no idea why he was acting like this. We tried everything. I finally reached out to early interventions, and I asked them if they can come over and they can assess him and see what their thoughts are as therapists. They diagnosed him with a sensory issue, regulation issue, transition issue, speech issue. We were setting up a time for him to start therapy. We went to go see his pediatrician and told them what's going on with Cameron. She mentioned if they diagnosed him with autism. I said no. His pediatrician wanted him to get tested. I made an appointment to the facility and did what they asked me to do. Cameron got tested. The results came back. Got diagnosed with autism on the severe side. At that moment, I was just shocked, broken down, in tears, wondering if I did anything to cause that. I had a lot of mom guilt. However, we started therapy and we just started to help him with his biting and his aggression. His nonverbal was getting worse and worse to the point where he was breaking skin. He would bite me so hard it would pierce through my skin. I knew that I couldn't be mad at him after what he's been through with me. I didn't have the heart to do anything as far as discipline, and I knew that he was struggling, and I knew that I had to help him because I was struggling when I was a little girl. I felt like my grandparents didn't understand me, and I did not want to parent how my parents parent me. I went a different route. Instead of discipline, I redirect. I asked God to give me the strength and the patience to help my son. A lot of people would probably have done the same thing, especially with the biting, the hitting, but not me. Instead, I got down on my hands and knees and I told my son it's going to be okay, and my mommy loves him, and mommy's right here, and tell him that he was safe. And I was raised, where the Bible says, is a spare the rod, but I went a different route. Okay. All right, chapter 18, the sickness. Here we go. Help me. It all started in March when Cameron and I were getting sick. It started with me. First, I was getting headaches every single day. I was working from home, so I was in front of a computer. So I was thinking maybe it's the straining of looking in the computer for hours. So I ordered some glasses to help and seeing if that would help. And it did. Kind of. So I went back to the ER. I got the top cocktails because of migraine. It wouldn't go away. My son was getting sick with upper respiratory, GI, ear infections, running nose, flu, you name it, he had it. We were just getting sick and sick and sick. And finally, I went to the neurologist. I was put on a shot, but I'm not taking it to this day. I probably would take that shot maybe about 2 years now, and then I stopped. I also went to go get an MRI to see if there was a mass in my brain. Turns out there wasn't. I went to go see Cameron's pediatrician, and she was saying, why is he getting sick so much? And I'm like, I don't know. So the pediatrician was like, do you have mold in your apartment? I was like, mold? I was like, no. And so I'm like, we just moved in there. And so she was telling me what it could do to your body, and it just sounds like it was based on Cameron's symptoms and how he's getting sick so much. She said that there was a family just like you, and it turned out that they had mold and they got very sick. Same symptoms as Cam. So I went back to the apartment and I looked for mold, and it took me a few weeks, but I finally found where it was mold. So we were going out one day and we came home, and boom, I'm talking about rashes, hives, all over his body, back, face, legs, arms, belly. The doctors thought it was an allergic reaction. It went away without Benadryl. It was the most craziest thing we've ever experienced. We brought him back out and then back in just to see if it would do it again. Same thing. The doctors were like, what's going on? I'm like, I have no idea. And then they were thinking maybe he touched something, and they were asking me, did you change detergent? Did you change routine? Did you change anything that would make him break out like this? And I said no. So I finally found an area of mold in the apartment, and I showed pictures to his pediatrician, and she confirmed it. That was mold. She told me that she would write a letter to the complex to tell them to fix it for the health of Cameron and Bradley, and to get them a new housing because it was not safe for Cameron. I emailed the apartment complex with everything that they gave me from Cameron's doctor. They did not do anything. They ignored it. And I eventually had to get a lawyer. It took me months, but my son and I were so sick that we had to go to a hotel again because they were not fixing it. And my son and I were getting sicker by the day. I had asthma. My lungs are undeveloped. I've had a lot of lung issues during this time, lots of breathing treatments, steroids, allergy medications. During the hotel stay, we were trying to figure out what we could do, move into a new apartment. The leasing agent just kept making excuses. She actually said that there was a guy who came in to test the mold. Turns out that was a lie. There was never a guy that went in there and tested for the mold. I kept asking for the test results, and she was like, it's not here yet. I'm like, well, it's been a week. And she goes, I'm sorry, it's not in right now. I said, well, the leasing agent told me that the guy told her it wasn't mold. So turns out that was all a lie. And I'm like, I'm like, I need some answers. So we finally got one, and they said that the apartment was ready with another apartment in the same complex, just a different one. Okay, there's a lot going on here, I know. The leasing agent just kept making excuses. She actually said that there was a guy who came in. Wait, hold on. Okay, so we finally got an answer. That apartment was ready. So we moved in. Everything that night was going pretty good for the 1 to 2 months. And then me and him got sick again. Aaron said, oh my God, not again. And I said, yes, headaches, throwing up, rashes, GI, strep, flu, upper respiratory. We were very, very sick for months until then I had to bring him to months until they diagnosed my son with asthma. Surprise! Okay, here we go. I totally remember this. All right, here we go. I got a test performed. The results came back. It said mold in the air, and that's what was making us sick. And the test came back with 4 different types of mold: Aspergillus, Penicillium, Cladosporidium. I can't remember the other one. I saw a pulmonologist, and they said you need to go to an ENT. So they did a procedure where they had to go through my nose, down the back of my throat, and try to figure out what was going on. It was all upper respiratory. I had a raspy voice, and I was sick, and they diagnosed me with a vocal cord issue, and I had a very, very, very bad sinus infection. Horrible, actually. Cameron and I just got worse and worse and worse and worse. Same thing over and over and over again. Wheezing, coughing, runny nose, breaking out in hives and rashes, which is a cycle that would never stop. Doctor after doctor, ER after ER. I was exhausted trying to deal with Cameron's behavior on top of him being sick, me being sick. I was still getting headaches, and we paid for some professional to come in to test the air from the outside to the inside, from the walls, from the hallway. Turns out there was mold in the hallway. The lab is recommending remediation. I called the health department. I called the village, the fire department. You name it, I called it. It was like everyone was just laughing in my face, and they thought it was a joke. And I told myself, I'm not giving up on this. I'm going to fight till the day I freaking die. Did I not, chat? Chapter 19, the bad news we did not want to hear. The last 2 months, we were not going to pay rent. Do not do this. They weren't going to fix it. We got a letter from a random guy saying that they were not going to evict us as long as we left by November 13th. They would not evict us. Okay, on November 28th, a week later, I got an eviction notice and went to court. Unfortunately, I had no lawyer because I couldn't pay for one, but I had tons and tons of proof. Tons. Actually, more than if you guys saw what I had, you would be off your rockers. Okay, moving on. I had plenty of documentation, and I still lost. But I kept pushing, and I told myself I'm not going to give up. I got a lawyer for the settlement, for the damages, for the pain, the suffering, the medical bills, for the medical expenses, the medications, blah, blah, blah. Okay, chapter 20, cyber bullied on social media. Here we go. Lord help me. There was an app called TikTok. During this whole process, I have been live blogging about my life for about 8 months. During that whole year, I've been bullied on that app with my twin sister, who also has an account that on the app has also been bullied, actually, more like cyberbullying. I've lost my jobs because of TikTok. They called my jobs. They called my sister's job. They called DCFS. There's like 70 reports. They have tore my life down into pieces. At least they're trying to, but I keep telling myself I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing and not gonna give up because I'm a fighter. I would say like I'm more of a champion. Someone in my chat was like live one day on TikTok, and someone mentioned about a let them tattoo and how it spoke to me. So I went that day and got a tattoo on my forearm with the let them. Okay, there it is. During all of this, I had a lot of female problems. I had surgery. I would say probably 3 surgeries in the whole year of having to deal with all of this that was going on. Aaron and I were fighting and arguing a lot. It was definitely a roller coaster. My son was into early inventions. We started some therapy for my son Cameron. My son was doing pretty good with having all of the early interventions coming into play. I could see some progress. I was working with him so hard, and every day he got better and better and better. I knew as a mom what I had to do. I felt like everything was going downhill faster than I could stop it. When it rains, it pours, right? But that didn't stop me. I kept pushing and pushing and pushing. I have fallen so many times, but I get right back up, just like that Carrie Underwood champion song. They knock me down, but I just get back right up. I've been praying every single day, asking God to fight this battle. My neighbors downstairs had a dog, and Cameron was so gentle with the dog, and something just spoke to me about getting a dog for Cameron and making it a service dog to help with his behaviors. Turns out there was a lady on TikTok who lied to me about a puppy. She sent pictures. We were talking, messaging each other. It was just this whole big thing that she was doing for us. And Erin drove all the way. It was like a few hours. I don't know where she lived. I forgot. But I was blogging it on live, and it turns out that was a lie. And there was no dog, and we got everything for the dog. Leash, bowls, everything, you name it, done. Nope, no dog. Okay, sounds great. But that didn't stop me. I was like, okay, well, I want this for Cameron, so we decided to get our little puppy. Okay, here we go. Chapter 20, getting our Coco. We were so broke since the lady lied to us about the puppies. We had everything prepared for these puppies to come home, and Cameron was super excited because I mentioned about it to him. So I was not going to stop until we got the puppy for my son. On June 23rd, 2023, there was a rescue that we went to that morning. We went to that rescue that we were hoping that we would be able to walk out with the dog. And we saw her in this little cage. She was black, and she was so cute, and she was just sitting there. We took her out and played with her. And so did Coco. We got everything ready to bring her home, and we named her Coco, and she's the best thing for my son. I wanted to get her trained as an emotional support dog and a service dog, but I had this company that was going to work with me, and I thought I got approved, and it looked really good, and I got accepted to the second round of the application, but then I got an email after that, maybe in about 2 or 3 months, and then I got denied. All right, chapter 21, the battlefield of trying to financially survive. During all of this, Cameron was biting babysitters. I was working as a waitress. It was too hard. We weren't even making ends meet. Aaron told me to stay home. He would even work, and I would stay home with him. If we got denied for the service dog, that didn't stop me from trying. When money got really tight, I started doing TikTok battles. I've had a really good support team. I would say that I wouldn't say that they were my TikTok fans. I would say that they were more like my family. I didn't really have a family, so I didn't really have any friends. And what I had was a TikTok, and that was my outlet. Chapter 19, learning how to let them. During all of this, the bullies have called the police on me several times for no reason at all. Just because they hate me and just because they're obsessed with me and they wanted me dead. At least that's how I felt, if you ask me. What did I do to make them do this to me? I'm going to be completely honest. I don't know. I really don't. The only thing that I can do is think of jealousy, maybe envy. I don't know why they picked me. I'm a singer. I'm a dancer. I could do the splits at 31 years old. Maybe that's why they're jealous. I don't know. But it doesn't really matter, does it? I just kept pushing through. And there was 2 people that would always come and help me, Emily and Anthony. Danielle and I had our rough patches, especially with TikTok. There was a lot of hate back and forth with my chat, her chat. A lot of drama started up. People made us hate each other, and then we got back to loving each other again, like sisters should. With the back and forth, there was a battle and a fight. This day, I started to think to myself, why give the haters what they want? It's a reaction. I just told myself, who cares? Let them talk. There was a battle, a fight, till this day. I started to think to myself, I said it already. Well, I give the haters what they want. It's okay. It's a reaction. All the haters want is a reaction. I just told myself, who cares? Let them talk. Let them say what they want to say. Let them make videos. Let them say what they want to do. Whatever. And not give even the satisfaction that I cared. Even though I was trying to learn the let them theory, when everyone would just come in my chat or my room, it would be so hard to let them. They would just come and attack me. And then they would come and attack you every second, or me every second of the day. I'm still working on the let them theory till this day. Chapter 20, the eviction, trying to figure out where we're going to go. As everything that was happening, we were trying to still figure out where we were going to go. We were still looking for a hotel, still looking for places, but we were running out of time. Chapter 21, getting ready for the trip to Florida with the bullies attacking our every move. This is where it gets crazy. Because I had so many people that hated me and they were obsessed with me. I got screen recording, screenshots that they were going to stop me from getting onto the airplane. I remember having a mod named Carla talking to me about calling the Spirit Airlines and having security know about what was going on, because I had a child with me and I was going to be alone. So I was scared that something was going to happen to me. Meanwhile, during all of this time and what was going on, I had multiple usernames coming in with my profile pictures. My stepdad named Bobby, and it said, "Hello, granddaughters. I'm here to pick you up at the airport. See you soon." My supporters are the ones that have been getting me through this hardship. If it wasn't for them, I don't know where I would be to this day. It might sound foolish to you thinking TikTok was my outlet, but I had no family, had no friends. I was a mom who had a child with special needs. I didn't know who to turn to. However, in the whole process of everything, it's coming to an end. In the process of that, we were still trying to get a place. Chapter 22, a hotel again. We finally found a hotel. It was a beautiful hotel for me and Cameron and Aaron. For just 2 weeks, and then the last week before Christmas, we're going to Florida to spend it with my mom. What a way to end the year. What a way to end the year. Till this is just the beginning. Chapter 24, packing up and leaving. It was packing up. It was December 6th when we finally moved out of our apartment and got into a hotel. I remember that one day, I was packing that day by myself. Aaron and I had an argument. Aaron went to the hotel. He was chilling and resting while I had the baby. I had to pack everything. In the meantime, I had 2 animals that I had to get rid of and find homes for them. One was Rex, my bearded dragon. The other one was a fish tank. I was trying to find homes for my bearded dragon and fish. I was even trying to sell them on Marketplace. I was even trying to sell them on TikTok, and I got no luck. And then Emily said that she would take Rex, but then their relationship got in the way, and then there was no help for Rex. And then my sister said she would take Rex, and then there was something that happened with Enzo, and then she said she couldn't take Rex, and that it was and something happened. Okay, so just a couple of days, we really had no other options but to surrender it to PetSmart. But I called PetSmart, and they said if it's past the 2 weeks, by the day that you purchase him, you cannot take the bearded dragon back. So then on December 6th, 2023, we just moved into the hotel. I called the hotel and I said, "Can I please keep my 2 pets?" while I was trying to look for homes for them. The hotel said no. I told Aaron to go back there and Anthony to clean up the rest of the stuff while I stayed at the hotel with Cameron, while I was unpacking all of the stuff. And I asked Aaron to make sure that the bearded dragon was taken care of the night, and the fish and everything, so I felt better. I contacted the leasing office and I said, "Hey, we're at a hotel. We're going to keep them there for just one night, and then we'll go back and we'll figure it out." The leasing office said, "That's fine." I'm like, "Thank you." So then that night, I was literally worried about my 2 animals. So I told Aaron, I said, "Go call your cousin and see." And so then, I just got the cage ready, everything that needed to be transported into Anthony's car. Anthony drove to Aaron's cousin it was Illinois, in Big Henry, and everything was fine that night. Rex got into a nice home. I felt better. Then the fish was, Gabi, slow down and breathe. It's a lot. It's a lot. Am I okay? Yes. I'm just trying to get through this. I'm just trying to get through this. There's so much. No, we're not starting over. Oh my God. Ugh. What? Take a breath. It's a lot. It's because it's a it's because it's a lot. It's because it's a lot. Did you write the whole book yet? Yes. It's not really, you guys have to understand, it's not about this book being published. I mean, the book would be published, whatever, but it's not really my main concern if people know about it. The point is, I want people to understand this is my story. I want people to understand my story. That's all. That's it. I have already finished the book, yeah. I have. There's 55 chapters. It's my story. I mean, yeah, I have to edit it and go through it, and this is just my life. That's it. Sure. It's not really a book, it's my autobiography. I should really say my autobiography. So, it's a book, autobiography, whatever you want to call it. It's my life. It's been taking me for about almost 2 years. And here's the thing, you guys, is if you guys are missing, I just told you that I want it to be before my autobiography gets published. I want my story told way before that would be published. So I don't care if anybody hears it before then. So I don't know why you guys are saying that. I told you I want my story told. That's not the title of my book. My title of my book is called From Childhood to Cyberbullied, My Journey. That's my title. But why? 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 I'll let you figure that one out. Okay, sounds good. Sounds great. Cool, awesome. Mm-hmm. Sure. Sure. Whatever you want. Talk to you tomorrow. Sounds good. Wow. Well, you guys have fun on Saturday. You guys enjoy your day on Saturday. Thanks. Mm. No clue. Anybody else? That's okay. That's okay. You guys see that she's hurting. Why keep going? What do you want me to say? What do you want me to say? I can't wait for 2 months. Literally, I just cannot wait. I'm just waiting. Okay, I'll stop. Yeah, me too. I know, brighter days are coming. I know. I know. Thanks, Mandy.